YouTube. So if you have seen my previous video that I posted, you'll have seen the pretty negative experience that I unfortunately had at another yard where I went to ride in Devon. Basically, we'd turned up there hoping to be able to ride on the beach, but due to a pretty negative energy and presence at this yard, we were denied that experience. I'll let you guys go and have a look at that full video because there's no way I'm going to sit here and explain it. I'll be here for an hour. But ever since that moment, that was last September, I have been even more determined to actually get onto a beach and ride properly for the first time as an adult. I think I must have only properly ridden on the beach, maybe on the lead rein as a child. I think that was the most I ever did. It's been something that I've wanted to do for my whole life. And so when this happened last year, I was super upset. I felt like I had such little confidence in myself. It was a bit of a setback, but it was also a bit of a kick for me to motivate me to find somewhere that would be a lot more welcoming and accepting and kind. When I posted a highlight clip from that YouTube video onto my TikTok, it got a lot more views. That got a lot of attention and it led to a lot of discussions. But one of the main things that came out of me posting and sharing that experience was an entire bunch of people that left comments, sent me messages, giving me suggestions of really, really lovely places to go and ride on the beach. And I was blown away. But one of the suggestions that we kept getting given was a place in Scotland, and I had repeated comments about this stables. Keep in mind, I'm down at the opposite end of the country, so I don't often go to Scotland. I think I've been once in my whole life. But lo and behold, my granddad and my mum lost contact before I was born, and essentially I've never met him. And the last few years, thanks to the power of social media, they have been able to reconnect. A few weeks ago, my mum suggested, why don't we book the trip to Scotland because that's where he lives. And she grew up in Scotland for the first 5 or 6 years of her life. I thought, well, this would be really amazing, of course, because we'd be able to go and meet my granddad for the first time. Considering I lost my dad last year, that means a lot to me to do. I jumped at the opportunity, and so we booked the sleeper train from London up to Edinburgh. So when I put 2 and 2 together and I remembered all of the recommendations on my TikTok video, and I contacted them, and we were very easily able to set up a 1.5 hour ride on their beach. And we are leaving tomorrow evening. And all the hassle that I went through last year, it might actually be happening. I have trust issues, but it might be happening. And you know why I think it's going to definitely happen? Because I've hired a photographer and a videographer, and the stables is cool with it. And considering the last place literally freaked out at the concept of even having my phone running in my pockets, just like, you know, so I could just have a hands-free capture of the ride. The fact that their stables is like, oh my god, yeah, no, we've got a lovely photogenic beach. If the beach that they have next to their stables is actually the beach that was used in one of the scenes in the Netflix's Frankenstein TV show, I think, or film, because it has a castle in the background, and I've seen pictures of it, it's insane. So I've gone all out. We've been having multiple conversations with them. We've booked it all and we've cleared as much as possible with them. So fingers crossed, this goes ahead. But I'm going to take you along with me to Scotland. We're going there for 3 days, I think, maybe 3 or 4 nights. But we're getting the train up tomorrow evening from London at 8 o'clock in the evening, and we will arrive there by like 6 a.m. and then we're getting in a taxi and we are going to the stables. I'm just beyond excited for this. It's going to hopefully be the tick off my bucket list that I've been wanting to do for so many years. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. So it's 10 a.m. on Friday. It's the 17th of April today, and today is the day that we actually leave to go to Scotland and ride horses on the beach for the first time. It's literally going to happen by this time tomorrow. I'm going to be in Scotland on a beach on a horse in 24 hours time. This is not a drill. 25 years of horse riding, want to do this properly. I've earned this experience because I've been through so much to actually tick this off my bucket list, so I'm just so excited. So the plan is today we are heading off around early evening time, and we basically have to get into central London and catch our sleeper train at 8 p.m. I'm really grateful that my mum's actually handling the travel aspect and getting the trains and the transport. If it was down to me, we'd just be driving there like we did with Exmoor, because I much prefer to be able to go in my own car, but it's a 9-hour drive, so we're not doing that. Not for a 3-day long weekend, it's just not happening, and I didn't want to fly. The one thing I'm more terrified of than trains, like long train journeys, is planes. I've gotten planes in the past, don't get me wrong, if I'm forced onto a plane I will, but if I can avoid it, you'll damn well see me avoiding it. We are getting the Harry Potter, I hope it's Harry Potter. Imagine if we get to go to platform 9 3/4. But it feels like we're going to be taking a Harry Potter train up to Scotland, which, look, at least I'll still be on the ground. For the cost of the train tickets for both of us, it
we could have got to Italy and back. I've been stressing so much about packing for this trip. I'm not even joking. I've literally been stressing so much. I thought you guys would like to see my cute little art station. This is where I create things. That's one of my favourite paintings of my boys. If you ever want your horses painted or your pets or anything, please give me a shout. I would love to take some art commissions. That would be my dream. So I obviously had to leave my boys for a couple of days, which is making me really sad, but they're so peaceful. Right, we've been cutting it close, but I am finally packed. My only concern is how heavy this thing is. I thought we were just getting one train up to Euston, where you get the train to Edinburgh. I forgot, because I don't do London that often, as you can probably tell, that you have to also trek across London to get to Euston. So that includes like tubes and stuff. This thing is so heavy. I almost like dislocated my shoulder trying to get it down the stairs. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. Oh God!
Don't make me joke. Mommy's going to go see her dad.
Mum's going back to her roots. Obviously, tartan bum bag for Scotland, absolute necessity.
You can have maggots in Scotland once.
She's allowed to say that, she's born there. We're dropped off at the station and we're grabbing some snacks for the journey. And then we're going to hop on the train to London so that we can then get our connecting train up to Scotland. That's the plan. This train journey took about an hour, maybe a little bit more, but we did have first class tickets, so it was a little bit more comfortable because we were worried about my cases. Damn! In London. I won, and my mum agreed to let me get a taxi so that we didn't have to trek across the tubes and up and down escalators because I would have died. Caledonian Sleep. Let's go. We got all excited thinking this was our train until about an hour later we realised it actually wasn't our train. It was a train that was leaving earlier, so we were just getting excited over the wrong train. It was actually on the other side of the platform. And then we were allowed into the sleeper guest lounge where Mum got her iron brew, of course. We're about to get on the Caledonian sleeper train. I'm very excited. I'm not sure. So we quite quickly realised as soon as we saw our little room that our suitcases were going to really struggle to fit in there. But we decided that was a problem for us after we'd had some food. So we went along to the carriage that was serving lots of dinner food. It was actually a really nice menu. I got mac and cheese and it was very nice. The train was delayed. It was about 11 p.m. by this point, and we had our food and headed back to our cabin. Right, we're on our way to our room after dinner. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like we're on a boat. Grab the rails. Right, this is our dwelling for the night. I don't actually know how we're going to do this. This is insane. If you come, I'm gonna die. If you came tumbling down.
Try not to come.
There you go. Down. Is it comfy?
Yeah. Just don't sit up too hard.
I can't see anything. Wait, if I turn the little thing on the chick, see if I can see more. Wait. No, it's pitch black. Don't ask me how, but basically by playing Tetris, we managed to get bits and bobs out of our suitcases so that I could at least get rid of my makeup and do my skincare routine. But you can see we were really stuck for space there. We were basically using the ensuite as a storage room, but it wasn't the most ideal. So weird, just like being in a little apartment that's moving. Like you can see other people's houses. It's so weird. It's definitely an experience getting ready for bed on a train. I've never done this before, so I wrapped my hair because I wanted to look at least semi-nice for tomorrow if I'm having professional photos taken of me horse riding. Did my skincare, finished it off, and then yeah. Just deal with it. By this point it's about midnight, 1 a.m. and I've been struggling to get myself to actually sit down and settle down, but I know I need to be awake by 6, so it's a struggle. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Good morning everyone, it's currently 4 a.m. I have definitely struggled to sleep on a moving train. It's very loud and jolting around, but I've got a couple of hours sleep, if that, and I'm currently looking at a lovely sunrise that's brewing as we approach Scotland. But this was the first sign I realised we were finally in Scotland, because look at that landscape behind these buildings. Around 6 a.m. we finally pulled into Waverley Edinburgh Station, and I hadn't really slept all night, but we were just gonna have to deal with that. So luckily last night I'd been quite organised, so when I woke up I quickly did my makeup and my hair, and I got dressed into my lovely EQ Couture chocolate riding top and the tartan leggings. And then, because we weren't sure what the weather was going to do, I popped on my comfy fluffy white jumper and my Ralph Lauren chocolate gilet, because I absolutely love it. And of course I had to bring the tartan bum bag. I'm also wearing my Ariat fluffy boots, which seem to go perfectly with my outfit. I love these boots more than life itself. They are my favourite boots ever. And I think now I'm just waiting for my mum to finish checking over the room and making sure that we've not left anything behind, of course. So we've arrived in Edinburgh and we are just waiting to get off the Caledonian sleeper train. Very excited because we're going to go and see Edinburgh. We're going to ride some horses on the beach. Alright, ready? Right, let's go. We're in Edinburgh Station. So Mum was actually really annoyed by the lack of space in the Caledonian compared to like what we paid to actually travel on that trip. So she had taken her suitcase, like the massive toilets in the station, just like opened it and started reorganising everything so she could get properly ready for the horse ride as well. Right. Have you seen what's on it? Yeah, it's all sorts. Otters. Okay, we're in Edinburgh. Mum's over there. So cool. Right, look at that bridge. Just admiring the buildings around the station. That's the station there. We've got that thing, and then if you look at this, you've got this building, which is so cool. It's called the Scotsman. Right. Right.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
We've got the flowers for the parade.
I got that. Alright.
Lovely.
Good, all right. You okay? Is about me?
Beautiful.
We actually have some family buried near where we were going for the riding, so we stopped off at the cemetery and laid some flowers to pay some respects.
Oh my goodness. I'm not filming you, Mr. Motorbike Man. Sorry.
Stop. This is going to be so fun.
Right.
Oh, look at these babies.
Hello, sweethearts. You're such ditty ponies. You're so precious. You're so precious. Hello, sweethearts. Hello, sweets. Hey, sweetie bum. Hello, friend. Eat a puppy. What'd I do?
Oh, go earring.
I know, I just realised.
Are you ready?
Not one, but I did anyway.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
So that was the full video that Megan put together for us, which just, honestly, as a keepsake, I'm going to treasure that forever. I'm so grateful for her.
Oh, yeah. You can even just like do like a hand up or something. Or that.
So it's time to leave the stables now, and we headed back in the taxi. We had a great time at the stables, except for something that happened after we got back from the actual horse ride, which I'll speak about a little bit later in the video. Anyway, we dropped Megan back off in Edinburgh, and then we headed across the bridge to go up towards Fife, because that is where we're going to be staying for the next couple of days. And as I'm looking out, the landscape is just getting more and more beautiful. I love the architecture in Edinburgh. It's such a beautiful historic place, but the countryside just always calls me, because I mean, just look at that coastline. It's stunning. This is why I love Scotland, because it's just breathtaking.
Right, we've arrived at the Airbnb. Oh my god, it's bloody nice.
How beautiful.
Oh, bloody hell, it keeps going.
Yeah, it does keep going.
Alright.
Oh, look, my lovely stone wall. Bloody hell.
Oh, where's the bedroom? Bloody hell. Oh,
There we are.
okay, cool. So there's kitchen. Got this.
Gorgeous. Pretty good on the room.
Oh, downstairs no. Oh, wicked.
God. Yeah, back.
Okay, nice.
Oh, lovely.
We found a stream. Pretty.
So I wanted to mention something that happened, which I didn't get to earlier because I didn't film it. We were not filming anything outside of the actual horse ride because I was not filming myself. I didn't have my camera on me, so I also was not anticipating this happening. Basically, the beach ride was amazing. Like, we went down there wasn't much conversation about what we'd actually be doing.
From my perspective, with the phone calls and the conversations that we'd had with them prior to turning up and planning this trip in depth, they knew that I was coming here, of course, to ride on the beach, and that it was really about a beach experience, and that I was doing it for sentimental reasons, and I really wanted to capture the memories but also enjoy it 100%, which is why I thought having a photographer would be a much better solution, because I'd usually film this stuff with my 360 camera or my phone, you know. The bottom line is,
They knew we had Megan with us, and she's a really talented elopement photographer from Scotland, and I wanted to be extra. Anyway, I didn't go and do this without getting permission from the stables. We literally called them up, we left them voicemails at first weeks ago, and then we had full conversations with them on the phone, sent them texts on WhatsApp to confirm stuff. And the fact that I know that they were completely okay with this is because they suggested to my mum that we should book an earlier slot in the day because the tides would be better for photos, and also book an extra half an hour, which I thought was kind of like compensation for if we need to maybe stop and coordinate or take some photos or just like have a little bit extra planning. So pretty scenic place, so it's not like, you know, but anyway, we still got permission. That's the most important part. So they knew fully what we were doing. We paid more just so we could kind of like accommodate for that. So when we turned up, I was really excited because we picked up Megan from Edinburgh. We'd actually travelled straight from the train to the yard, and we got changed on the train when we got off in Edinburgh, and literally turned up, everything seemed fine. I had to use one of their hats because apparently my hat now doesn't pass safety with their insurance. A lot of the hats that they had that half kind of didn't not kill my head when I put them on in their tack room were literally like falling apart.
I'll also add another thing that confused me about the hat situation is both mine and my mum's hats are under 2 years old, and my mum's is a Charles Owen, and I'm genuinely confused because I'm not trying to be rude, but a lot of the hats in this room didn't look like they were any newer than 1978. So I just couldn't get my head around how they were saying it was due to very new updated safety restrictions and guidelines on hats, but their hats were clearly older than ours.
But luckily I managed to find a fix with a hat cover that they had lying around, a brown velvet one. So I was like, okay, we've got some luck on our side right now. But anyway, we headed down to the beach. Everything seemed fine. The girl that took us out, super chill. She was telling us all the history of the area. It's so fascinating, so beautiful. The horses were beautiful. I was on Blossom and my mum was on a half Frisian. And we were having a great time. Like, these horses were, you know, they were spiteful. And it was great. I'm totally able to handle things. And I think that's partially what maybe caused a bit of an issue today, because I think, ironically, compared to last year, this time around, apparently I might have been too confident. Let's preface this. They knew about the photographer. They were totally chill with it. They got us to change our booking so that it would fit better around having photos taken. We turn up, everything is absolutely chill. We get on these horses, we start heading down, and the girl seems to be really accommodating. So I think this is why I'm so shocked that stuff didn't carry on being nice after we got back to the yard. Essentially, I think what might have affected it is on the second canter, my mum's horse became quite strong out of nowhere and did take off in a bit of a gallop. The Welsh section C that I was on, absolutely, you know, a lot of energy, that one. She tried to keep up with him, and, you know, I was having a great time. I wasn't freaking out at all. It was more of like I was having a laugh, and I started to pull her back in after a few strides of that, because I was like, okay. And she was, you know, she was a very strong pony. I absolutely loved every second of it. If that doesn't show that I haven't got any confidence issues with that anymore, I don't know what does.
And this is where I think the first issue arose, and As you guys know, I'm not the best at picking up on social cues. I'm better at communicating with animals over people. But essentially, after we pulled up from this one, the girl was, you know, we were all laughing and joking, we were all having fun, and she kind of jokingly said, oh, you know, maybe next one, let's just like keep it a little bit more chill because, you know, the next people we put on them might not be as good at riding as you two are. And she was laughing and giggling, so I took it as part compliment and part advice of like how they, you know, run things here with the different customers that come up. I'm not one to question anyone when it comes to this stuff, and I totally was like, thank you for letting me know. I would have preferred if they told me up front to not go so fast. Of course, I will be a very respectful person if people explain to me exactly how things are supposed to go. Everyone that's told me about beach riding has told me that you go and have a good gallop on the beach. It's what the horses like to do. It's a flat open space, it's private, there's no people. And if she said beforehand don't go fast, I would have absolutely held this pony back like my life depended on it, you know what I mean? She kind of made the comment about how they don't let the ponies just canter and gallop up and down all the time, and I was like, totally get that, that's totally fine. But I think considering those 3 canters took place in the space of about 20 minutes max, if I'd known that, I would have personally liked to have asked them to space them out over like 30, 35, 40 minutes and have trotting and walking in between and walking around in the water and having a nice chill time. And that would have led to 100% no confusion. We could have sat there, coordinated how do we want to do like the photos, make sure that Megan was in the absolute best spots to get the best canter shots, of course, but also being able to just take in and enjoy the beach, which is what I was there for, 100%. I'm a Pisces through and through. I love the sea. Like, honestly, sue me for that. But just to absolutely reiterate, I was 100% fine with having a walk and a trot up most of the beach for most of the ride. I would have just liked to have known when the last canter was going to be, if that makes sense, right? Because I was still getting into my groove of understanding Blossom and the way that she is.
Kind of felt like after that point, when we had another canter, we obviously kept it very, very chill. There was just like a weird like, leftover energy. I can't quite describe it, but anyway, on the beach, maybe like 35 minutes. It was at this point she started to suggest that we should go on a different route away from the beach, and I was like, oh, okay, that wasn't necessarily in the plan because we had Megan walking with us, and obviously if you're on 3 horses and she's on foot with camera equipment, I didn't want to like make her start walking miles, which is what was kind of being insinuated as it was being shown to me where we were going to be going. It was up on like cliffs and stuff, and I was like, poor Megan back here, like I told her we'd just be on the beach. I don't want to put her out, and obviously I've spent money for her to be able to do this with us, and if that means that we then like she has to stay here or something. Also making sure I didn't like waste my time and money as well in terms of like, whilst I was on the beach, if I wanted to get a shot of just me and the horse, because so far I think the photos we've gotten were just me and my mum, so I was like, oh, I just love like a photo of me and this beautiful horse because she was stunning. And sue me if I wanted to make sure that before I left that beach, potentially forever, because I wouldn't know if I was coming back there again, and this was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. I wanted to make sure I had like just that one shot. I was like, okay, you maybe stay on the beach for a little bit longer, and basically girl kind of came back with, we don't want to do any more canters because like it's gonna give the horses the wrong impression. I was like, no, I just wanted to make sure before I left forever that I got a photo with this lighthouse. Basically a big deal, like we paid for a private ride, like again this was completely private. It booked with an extra half an hour to allow for things like this, and I was also conscious of Megan because if we had to leave her there because it was going to be too much of a walk, and to be fair to her, I hadn't told her that was going to be a thing. I'd literally only been aware of it being in one kind of location, which would be absolutely fine. Also just trying to think of that because we'd only been there a third of the time that we booked and paid for, and I had booked Megan to be working with us for 2 hours, so you can understand my dilemma. Like it's not like we went into this with them blindsided. They knew fully that we were doing this. They knew fully that we had a friend with like a professional camera and we wanted to definitely capture some memories. But it was just when it was suggested we had to start leaving the beach, you know, just like I didn't want to have the regret of like leaving there forever, knowing I'd probably find it quite hard to come back so far. We travelled on the Caledonian Sleeper. It's an overnight train. That's a big thing for me. Somewhere unfamiliar, like riding at a new place, taking all my fears of the things that happened to me last year at that other yard. It was like my trophy. It was like my thing to be proud of, because of course I want to have memories to look back on. And I have, you know, if we get old and have dementia and can't remember anything, don't you want to have like amazing, beautiful photos on a beach that you once got to ride on in Scotland once to tick off your bucket list for the first time? Wouldn't you want those framed in your house forever? I would. There's nothing shallow about that. That's what life is about, capturing memories and experiencing memories. Because we'd not taken any like post photos at that point, I wanted to make sure there was at least one good one, because again, anyone that has had candid photos taken of them, you cannot always guarantee you're going to like the angle or your facial expression, or if you have your mouth half open or one eye blinking like that, or it looks really weird. So me, I was like, at least I know that I'm going to have control of how my face looks in this photo, because I kind of got the impression that they wanted us to go and we wanted to get off the beach. I'm kind of getting the impression that they just didn't trust that we weren't going to gallop with the horses or something, even if they, you know, when they'd asked us not to, we were like, oh yeah, of course, like totally fine, thank you for letting us know that that's, you know, you keep it fairly slow here, that's absolutely fine, I'm still on the beach riding, that's totally fine, just let us know. Megan then had to trek like a mile uphill. I felt really bad for her. Yeah, we got to go and see a really beautiful castle, but there wasn't any communication with us about where we were actually going around this castle. Poor Megan had to like follow us quite far behind because again, she's on foot, we're on horses, and these horses were not slow, so they weren't waiting around left behind, and we ended up going back to the yard basically without her. So essentially when we got back to the yard, I thought, you know, okay, that was fun, of course, like plans changed. I had to kind of like just make sure Megan was okay. After all of that, I felt awful because again, that had not been planned. I thought we were going to stay on the beach the whole time. No one ever said we were changing, and I think the change of direction came from that second canter, which ended up being a little bit faster than it should have been because again, the horses were having a great time, and I think anyone that's ridden on the beach, I've only ridden properly on the beach now once, but I think I'm aware that horses get excited on the beach, and you know, there can be a point where a horse will see a horse next to it going quite fast and try and catch up with it or take over, and that happens. You don't freak out and make them go super fast after that and pull them in. Like, crime has not been committed. I kind of felt like I committed a crime by doing that. I don't know why that vibe was so strong, but obviously, I mean, it was confirmed after we got back. So I was sat down with Megan, we were just looking at some of the photos that she'd taken because I put the horse's tack away, everything else. I think it was someone that kind of ran the place, potentially, I'm not quite sure exactly who, just sauntered over. The first thing that kind of came out of their mouth was like, have you paid yet? I said, yeah, no, I paid a week ago via the payment link that you sent me for £300. I was very taken aback by this tone. And it was so strange. And started basically saying things that kind of passively aggressively insinuated that I didn't care about the horse's welfare because I'd wanted to get some photos on the beach, which they were fully aware of and had given permission for me to do. It was the way she was saying, she was like, you know, at this yard we just care about the horses. After saying like, did you get enough content? Like, did you get like the content that you wanted? Were the photos nice? Like, and I think she mentioned something about the canters, which is why I put 2 and 2 together. It was like something about, you know, while we limit canters, and I was like, well, that's fine, just let me know up front. I was completely like cornered by this person. I didn't understand what was going on at first. I was so confused, and I ended up clapping back of like, when I realised what was going on, I was like, insinuating that I don't care about the horse's welfare because I got permission to have a photographer with me on the beach when I'm riding on the beach for the first time properly. Like, I was like, if this wasn't okay with you guys, you could have said at any point in the last 2 months. I wasn't going to let last year happen again, by the way, guys. I wasn't going to let that happen. And I backed up. I was like, I've been around horses for 3 decades. I understand horse behaviour. If someone explains something about their horse and says, yeah, no, maybe do it this way because it's better for their brain, of course I'm going to listen to that immediately. What do you expect me to be, though? Psychic? You know, I'm good around animals, but I'm not a freaking, you know, animal psychic, and to the point where I'll know exactly what any horse wants as soon as you get on them. You have to learn that stuff for experience of riding a horse. Every horse is different, every pony is different. The yard does things differently, and if they don't sit there at the beginning and explain, yeah, no, we have 3 canters on this beach, we do this, we go at this speed, we don't let them like fully go off.
And just before our first canter, she did ask if we were able to lean up out of our saddles, and we said, of course we are. And maybe I've just had different instruction, but that usually gives me the impression that someone is saying, yeah, it's okay to go a little bit faster. When we say canter, we kind of mean, you know, a little bit more extended. But after this experience, I'm not going to take that like that anymore. I'm just going to assume they mean go as slow as possible, because again, I don't want to have this experience all over again.
It was my first proper time riding on the beach, so they could have given any direction here. They just said, off you go ahead of me. They said, trot off and off you go. So I did. It seemed to be the combination of that, the fact that I had Megan with me, seemed to insult them or something. It's not all of them, but specific people that were there. I'm not going to war because I had such a good time, and I'm so adamant to not let that ruin the positive experience I had on the beach, actually after last year especially. But older person, which, if you know, I've commented on before how it seems to be a little bit of a pattern that a lot of older equestrians in certain positions to kind of pick on people and make the worst assumptions about them. But last year it was about the fact that I wasn't a good enough rider, I wasn't confident enough, I couldn't ride a horse on the beach. And this year, about apparently the fact that I ride the horse too confidently on the beach, and they don't want to have a novice rider, you know, have an issue. I
personally wouldn't be putting a novice on the pony that I was riding, or the part Frisian. And as a friend of mine who owns horses said to me after I told them about this experience, it's a bit strange that they don't have horses that are just solely for novices and horses that are just for experienced riders, like a lot of other yards that we come across.
Obviously, maybe I could be completely wrong. Maybe you're not supposed to gallop horses on the beach at all. From things I'd seen at this yard before, like, you know, lots of people would suggest it was a really good place to go, and so the actual experience was mostly 99.9% good. The fact that I had to clap back at this woman and sort of say like, no, actually that's not a fair assumption to make. I've run this over with you guys. You know, she was basically like, did you enjoy the actual ride instead of just getting photos? And I was like, you weren't there. Why are you insinuating that I'm just some sort of vapid when I'm actually doing this for very sentimental reasons? It just really infuriates me when people will having someone taking photos of them when they're riding with permission. What?
Moral of the story is, if you run an idyllic, popular riding establishment and you take hundreds of pounds up front for someone to come and ride with you, they ask and get full permission from you to take photos, and you even give them advice on how to come at a different time to get better photos and extend the time so it can accommodate for those photos. If you're going to have a problem with experienced riders going a bit faster than a very steady canter on the beach, make sure that's clearly communicated up front. And don't approach customers who have just come back from an absolutely exhilarating once-in-a-lifetime beach ride that they've been waiting to do for 25 years, and first of all demand money of them that they've already paid, and secondly make really snide and snarky comments about the fact that they had a photographer there which you cleared. If there had just been a teeny bit more communication about what we were allowed to do and what we weren't allowed to do on an experienced private beach ride, this misunderstanding could have been avoided, but I was made to feel like I had gotten in trouble or something. And this woman seemingly was really angry at me, and the way that I was spoken to made me just not want to recommend this place to anyone else, because I don't want anyone else to be going to somewhere like that, which is so beautiful, to have an experience like that and then to be made to feel so awful afterwards. It was just very unprofessional and rude, to be honest. And I was extremely disappointed because it was the one thing that let everything down, but it didn't get in the way of the actual experience, because obviously all of this happened afterwards. So at least that didn't take that away from me. And look at how many amazing photos and videos that Megan was able to capture despite everything. So that's why I haven't named them. Anyway, we have much better things to look forward to, such as reconnecting with family. We're just getting ready to go for a lovely dinner at a local hotel with my granddad and his lovely wife. The weather is quite lovely, but I'm still going to dress just in case it does get a bit colder as the evening goes on. This is the garden and view from our Airbnb. It's so pretty. I'm so excited, but a little bit apprehensive to meet my granddad for the first time properly. I think anyone would be. In total honesty, over the last few years especially, I've just felt like I've been losing so many family members left, right and centre. So to actually have the rare opportunity to gain a family member is such a blessing to me. It was such a lovely and amazing reunion, and I was so happy to see my mum so happy. And now they're going to show us a little bit of the local area around this part of Scotland. So we're heading off some dinner, and no doubt we have a lot of catching up to do. It's a new morning in Scotland. We are very close to Fife. Look at that view. You can kind of see the clouds over some of the mountains. See that kind of...
It's raining.
So we're currently actually walking into the local town. We haven't had a chance to have a proper walk since we got here, so we thought it was a good opportunity, even though it had started raining, so we had the umbrellas out just in case.
The old Scottish farm on the right. The big old... So that's Edinburgh over there. Oh yeah, that's it. That's where we're walking to, the village. We're currently walking into the nearby village. I don't know how long we've been walking so far, but it's a very pretty walk. At first it was raining, but I'm learning again with Scottish weather that the weather never stays the same for more than like 5 minutes. So we've had all sorts so far, and swapped some things around. I've got my camera out. I'm taking some pictures of those horses in this field. Look there, look at that one moving. Wow, pretty. There's a nice dance. There's another track that comes up. Yeah, I love it. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So my granddad gave us a lift to the local town so we could have a nice explore, and apparently it's got a really lovely beach, and we're going to meet their dog and their cat, Misty and Jet.
My dad was
Look at the views. Wow. So Jet is their cat that they rescued a few years ago, and she was a little bit nervous at first. She definitely has quite quiet energy compared to Misty, who's obviously a very over boisterous spaniel, as typically spaniels are. She's lovely, but Jet definitely took a little bit longer to warm up, but I think I convinced her that I was all right by showing her my little bracelet, and she came out of her shell and started to play with me. She was very, very sweet. And then we headed out to have a nice walk along the beach and to go and get some lunch. It couldn't have been a more perfect day. I mean, just look at that sea.
Misty! What are you doing? Is it? Misty! Was it nice?
Misty was a great subject to practice action photography with. As you can probably see, she could not stay still for more than 2 seconds, so that was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed taking lots of photos of her on the beach. It was such a beautiful setting for it, and my mum and my granddad had a nice little catch up. And then we saw this thing hanging up. I mean, it's a bit creepy. It's a random witch. I made some jokes about who it might look like that it reminded me of. And then we went and sat down for a really lovely pub lunch, and I got macaroni and cheese. It was a Sunday. I'm not very traditional, but sue me. And then we headed back to the Airbnb.
So we're almost completely packed up to leave our Airbnb here in Scotland, and it's been a really amazing trip. I mean, just look at the views that you get everywhere this part of the country. So yeah, we've had an amazing time. Ironically, when we booked this two to 3 months ago, for some reason we'd booked Friday until Wednesday, but technically we would leave on the Tuesday. So today is Monday. We'd booked it actually for 4 days, but we completely forgot about 3 weeks ago when we started actually like planning the trip and like what we were doing on each day and everything. And for some reason my mum told me we were definitely going only for 3 days, so it wasn't like a long time. So I packed for 3 days and I planned for 3 days, and then last night I checked the booking and I was like, oh, why are we checking out tomorrow? And then my mum was like, hang on a minute, let me go and check the train. And because we're going on the sleeper train, we can't we have to catch at 8 p.m. in the evening, so no matter what, if we want to leave, we have to wait a whole extra day. I haven't even packed enough clothes for that. Like I barely could fit enough to last me this last 3 days. I'm not even joking. I don't know how, but we had continued with our original booking. We'd be only back by Wednesday morning. It's Monday at the moment, and that's a complete 2 extra days because we'd have to catch the train tomorrow evening at 8. But luckily my mum managed to contact Caledonian Sleeper, and they were actually really amazing, and they swapped somehow, because we thought it was completely booked up, but they swapped our ticket from tomorrow night to tonight. And even though we had booked the Airbnb for an extra night, you know, we've seen and done all the things that we'd actually planned to come up here to do. We've done beach riding, we've reconnected with family, we've explored the local area, and today we're going to go and walk around Edinburgh. I've been once before, my mum hasn't been since she was a little kid. We're going to go and do that for the day, and then tonight we're going to be catching our train at 8:30 from Waverley Station in Edinburgh, and it's going to be another night on the sleeper train. It was a little bit tedious, I won't lie, the last time. We're kind of dreading it a little bit because it's not like as magical as you'd think it would be. I mean, it's not like the Queen's kind of level of travel. It's close quarters. I will miss this view though.
Saying bye-bye to our Airbnb as we head off towards the city. So we caught the train from Aberdour down to Edinburgh Waverley, and it was a really nice view. We got to go across the Forth Bridge, which my mum said she also lasted when she was about 11, so it was really nostalgic for her. Such a pretty view from outside the train, so it was just perfect for me to sit down and read my book. The funny thing is though, I forgot how scared I was of trains on bridges and heights combined, so as you remember from the start of the video, this is going to be quite funny.
This side's good too.
The actual, we're on the Forth Bridge, the red one.
Yeah, look,
You see the big arms.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what the hell? No, I don't like this. Stop. I don't actually like this a lot.
See the first one.
It's fake. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I don't like bridges. I don't like bridges. Yeah, you were 11 last time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's freaky. I am shaking a little bit because this whole thing's shaking. Wasn't this thing built in the 60s?
Well, it's a bit earlier.
Oh, stop. A bit earlier than the 60s. This thing is like 60 years old. Oh god.
This is one they talk about painting the Forth Road Bridge because this is what they're always painting on red.
I am shaking. I'm shaking. I'm a bit scared. A bit scared. that down there. Stop, I don't want to hear that. Okay, okay.
Look at the castle down there, the prison.
Is that a prison?
They drop bridges on them.
I feel like we're on the cable car again.
Yeah.
Oh, how long is this bridge? Okay, how long is this bridge? Why is it slowing down? Go faster, go faster, go faster, go
We're in the
faster.
middle now.
Stop. No, we're not. Yeah. See it on the other side. Stop. That's mean. That's mean. Oh god, what's that noise? What's that noise? What's that noise? What is that noise?
Oh, we're not.
No, don't say that. Don't say we're not safe. Let me off, let me off, let me off. Let me off, let me off, let me off. Tire. Let me off. Let me off. Bridge. Bridge. We're on land, we're on land, we're on land.
Crashing down to rocks.
Stop. No, no. Oh god. Are we safe? Safe. Safe. Bridge.
Yeah, that's the bridge.
Okay, we'll do it.
Right, let's go.
We're in Edinburgh now.
Barber, let's go. Is that thing where they keep putting the cone on his head?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's got it on.
Another cone, guys. Another cone. Love it. Beautiful. Currently at Edinburgh Castle.
It's so sunny.
Let's go through the let's go through these. Mum, look. They go first.
Look at my trousers.
Taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
So, we are tall people now.
We are very.
Like those Japanese.
We don't have knees. We are LS Larry paintings.
Let's go. I'm sold. No, it's not an otter.
Actual live otter.
Maybe it might be.
Oh no! You think it's an otter?
We came down an alleyway. We regretted it. Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit of history.
Yes. Mum, look.
Yummy.
Burgers. Burgers from Lucken Booths in the centre of Edinburgh. Centre of Edinburgh. That looks very nice. Bacon burger.
Wow, this is so cool. Boy, very. I'll be in here.
Wow. Oh my god. Oh. Look at that. So after a lovely day of wandering around the city of Edinburgh, we had a look at all of the lovely little markets and the craft stalls and the clothing shops. I 100% had to get my tartan fix, and I absolutely did. And then we headed back to the station, and this is where plans changed a little bit again, because you're probably already realising we're not on the Caledonian Sleeper, we're just on a regular train, right? Long story short, we went and picked up our bags a bit earlier, about 5:30 p.m. We got to Waverley Station in Edinburgh, and we sat down in the main waiting area and realised that our train was delayed for the Caledonian Sleeper. And when I say delayed, I mean it wasn't going to leave until almost midnight, which meant that we would probably be having to wait for at least around 6 hours minimum. The chairs were uncomfortable, it was very windy, it was getting cold. I was just absolutely wanting to just get home. Now I knew that I was going to be leaving anyway, I just wanted to get going, and it was just the difficult thing of sitting there waiting, knowing that it was going to be delayed and then having to get on a 12-hour sleeper train anyway. We just felt it was going to be a bit of an ordeal if we couldn't find maybe another route back. And basically my mum turned around to me about 3 minutes later and said, Bella, by the way, there's a train in 10 minutes that if we catch this one, it will get us back down to London by the time, if not before the time, that we'd actually be due to board the Caledonian Sleeper up here in Edinburgh tonight. So essentially, she'd found a 5-hour train that would leave at about 5-6 p.m. from Edinburgh, and it would get us back down to London, King's Cross by 11 p.m. And so we decided within a few minutes that we were going to try and make this train, because I just couldn't bear the thought of having to sit in that spot for the next 6 hours with all of my stuff. And I'm telling you now, we almost didn't make that train. The ticket machine was not producing tickets to get us to King's Cross. It wasn't showing up on the results, and the guy wasn't letting us through the gates. And I actually basically burst into tears because I just, at that point, wanting to get home so badly, and I knew that if we didn't get this train we wouldn't be able to get back to London tonight. Luckily he saw reason and let us through so we could buy a ticket on the train from the train manager, and we got on this train, and it was a 5-hour journey back down, but I'm telling you now, it was actually remarkably comfortable. I wouldn't have minded taking that on the way up, to be honest, instead of the sleeper train, because at least it wouldn't have interrupted my night's sleep. Anyway, long story short, we managed to get back by about 1 a.m, which wasn't too bad considering we were supposed to be due back by about 10 a.m. the next morning, and our train had only just left from Edinburgh as in the Caledonian Sleeper by the time we got home, so that's insane. I had a lot of time to reflect about the trip on the way back down, and you know, we got to experience so many firsts. We got to go on the beach for the first time, meet family for the first time, explore the local area that we'd never been to before, and trying not to think about the experience that I had after we actually got back from the horse ride. And Megan was actually sat with me, and we did have a talk about it afterwards, and she's not really familiar with the equestrian world whatsoever, and she was really shocked that in a professional setting where someone's coming there as a customer that they would be approached in that way. And I was like, well, welcome to the equestrian world. This is actually quite normalised. But that did reaffirm to me that this wasn't okay, and that wasn't justified, and there either had been a misunderstanding, but regardless, the way that it was dealt with was not okay and completely unnecessary. And I think it's made me a lot more guarded about wanting to go and find more experiences like that at yards like that. At the end of the day, I've been able to tick beach riding off my bucket list. That's what my dream was to do, and you know, the next time hopefully it will be with my own horses, or at the very least with some of the people that have offered to take me out on their own horses because they live near the beach if I can travel to them, which honestly sounds like a whole bunch of fun, especially if there's no sarky old ladies running a riding school there to just torture you. That would be my idea of heaven. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed watching my vlog as I've travelled to Scotland and gone beach riding for the first time. I hope you enjoyed all of it, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to leave a like and comment and subscribe. Bye!